أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In this video I would like to respond to a video in which there was basically trying to prove that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a learned man, that he was literate, and that he was deceiving people by making people believe that he cannot read and write. So first of all, I will start by saying that the most serious argument I've ever heard, because any serious Muslim or non-Muslim scholar agree that Prophet Muhammad was not educated, and that even your own logic, just use your common logic, you're gonna see that he cannot, be somebody who know how to read and write. Why? For two reasons. The number one reason is when you want to be a leader, to be illiterate is not a quality to be a leader. At the beginning is like a disability, is an handicap to be illiterate. Because today if you have to be like a president of a country or something like that, or a big company, do you think if you don't know how to read and write, is that going to be a good point for you? You see, that's just common sense. If Muhammad know how to read and write, because what we need to know is that at the beginning he didn't know if he gonna succeed in his mission. Because you cannot just stand up and say I'm going to be prophet, because he was facing a fierce opposition, and his follower, most of them, at the beginning themselves, they hesitate about him. So, because nobody want to be in something which is going to be a failure. So you need to see that this guy have all the quality, and being illiterate, at the first look is not the quality. So if Muhammad wanna be a leader, it was better for him to say, I'm this and that, and I have knowledge, I have this and that. That's what's going to make people to be motivated to follow him. But he didn't do that. So it's not good to try to go back to history. Like after he succeeds, then we say, okay, he did this. You understand? That's a mistake people make. Like after the guy succeed, then we say, yeah, he knows he gonna succeed. That's why he was doing this, he was doing that. No, he didn't know he was gonna succeed. That's number one. Number two, if Muhammad know how to read and write, where did he learn how to read and write? Because he was born in Arabia. We know his whole life, he was doing training, goat, all those stuff. So he was born in Arabia. He grew up in the city of Mecca, and he became prophet in the same city. So if he know how to read and write, that means people who he was living with, who was opposing his message, he then knows who teach him. Because you are not born knowing how to read and write. So who was his teacher? Who was his schoolmate? Because people are going to see him going, coming back, learning all the process. So where did he do that? With who did he study? You see, that's just basic. Because those people was saying anything to disprove his message. So suppose he know how to read and write, and people will see that, and he come back and say, I don't know how to read and write, they're gonna say, Muhammad, you are crazy. Because we know you know how to read and write. Suppose me, I send you a message, right? Then 2 3 years I come back to you and say, I don't know how to use the computer. You're gonna say, Adam, you crazy. Cause you used to send me email. How you gonna tell me you don't know how to use a computer? That's just common sense. Because if he know how to read and write and people see him, they know probably where he get the teaching from, who was teaching him. He may have, because he's not rich enough to have private teachers. So probably maybe they have a system where some kids study together. So where are those classmates? Because he's not a prophet who came from different city. He was born in Mecca, he grew up in Mecca, he became prophet in Mecca. So they have his own life file, they have his record. So that's why this argument just doesn't make sense. So when you see in those hadiths, they say, he was asking to write something. That doesn't mean he said he's going to write it down himself. Because he have scribe, we don't know in which sense he was saying that. Because as we know, the Quran himself states that he don't know how to read and write. So that must be like common knowledge, otherwise people just gonna use it against him. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.